Good day friends, it's me your host for the news update on the happenings of the past 1 week after The talks which generate some hope that once again the main arteries of Manipur would be opened for people, goods and basic livelihood for people who depend on The national highways. Let's try to get clearer picture of Manipur. Do you know that there are 33 scheduled tribes as per the list who have made their homes in Manipur? Here are some of them, the recognized tribes who made their home in Manipur for years now are Amol, Ainal, Chiru, Chote, Ganti, Inpi, Ma, Kharam, Koibu, Koiro, Kom, Lankang, Lianmi, Mao, Maram, Maring, Mate, Monsang, Moyon, Pite, Pumai, Perm, Ralte, Rommi, Kabui, Simte, Sute, Tamkhal, Tarao, Thadu, Thangal, Waife, Zeme. It is not my wish alone, but the whole nation wants to know when will the highways will be safe to travel again? So many questions comes to my mind as to why the central government is soft paddling in regards to the government in Manipur. I wish you could tell me. I wish that once again Manipur can achieve peace between the warring groups. Is that going to happen? Has the central government any concrete plans to open the highways? Is the central government serious about the failures and find remedies and resources to mend the divide between the two groups? If I had an option, if you ask me, I will spell it in my way. It requires a multifaceted, empathetic approach that addresses both immediate tensions and underlying causes. These 33 major tribes have a big role to play in solving the issues which has infected the very fabric of Manipur's society. These tribes must be included in any peace talks or strategies which can bring normalcy back to the state. Here's my structured strategy. 1. Ceasefire and safety first. Establish an immediate ceasefire, possibly monitored by neutral third parties, to halt violence and create a safe environment for dialogue. I think you can call this President's rule which is going on in the state. Then I would seek the help of a neutral mediators. By engaging trusted, impartial mediators, example, national level organizations, respected community leaders, to facilitate structured dialogue, ensuring fairness and reducing mistrust. While that is in progress, I will begin the inclusive dialogue taking place. Hosting forums where both groups can voice grievances and needs without judgment, using techniques like active listening to foster understanding and identify root causes, example, resource disputes, historical injustices and many other issues which are spoken about without any facts checked. Next will be the time for empathy building initiatives. Organize shared experiences, example, storytelling sessions, cultural exchanges, to humanize each side, counter dehumanization, and highlight common values. Next I will be putting negotiation and compromise as my real solution finding method. This has to encourage pragmatic negotiations where both sides prioritize key demands and explore trade-offs. Each side needs to focus on mutual gains, such as agreements or joint development projects. I think that trust-building measures need to be taken at a serious intent to make sure that it happens soon through implementing small, collaborative projects, community infrastructure, environmental efforts, to build confidence through shared success. A small initiative can make a great difference. Structural reforms needs to be done soon to address systemic issues via legal, policy changes, anti-discrimination laws, equitable resource distribution, and establish oversight mechanisms to ensure compliance. Now comes the most telling features of my application between the warring groups, that reconciliation processes has to come in soon. Many great future generations have lost their lives or have destroyed their careers due to this hatred and mistrust. I would certainly create truth-telling platforms, example commissions, to acknowledge past harms, paired with symbolic gestures, apologies, memorials, and material reparations where churches' temples were burnt and vandalized. Education and awareness must go hand in hand with reforms in curricula to counter stereotypes and promote shared history, encourage intergroup educational programs to foster long-term understanding. Leadership and community engagement is a must so it can empower moderate leaders and grassroots advocates to peace. Establishing permanent bodies, example peace committees, ombudsman, to resolve future disputes and maintain dialogue, ensuring peace is dynamic and adaptable. Agreement must be on power sharing, disarmament, and cross-border districts cooperation. Reconciliation Commission must be set up to emphasize accountability and healing through testimony and amnesty. Yes, the challenges to anticipate will be tremendous and there will be spoilers. We need to isolate extremists by widening participation in peace benefits. Nothing can be gained in a hurry. Be patient. Peace is iterative. Celebrate incremental progress to sustain momentum. Lastly, my friends, by prioritizing dignity, safety, and mutual benefit, warring groups can transform conflict into collaboration, fostering lasting peace and security. So my friends, it can be me and you who can give peace another chance to make a difference. Please share and support my thoughts with prayers and humble request. Manipur crisis is a historical injustice meted out by the central government on its own people. My heart bleeds for you all. Jai Hind.